Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Chris. On today's episode, I'm going to try talking to you about this whole thing where you wake up and it's just like, this is going to be a great day. Do you ever have those? You wake up in the morning feeling motivated, feeling driven? And if so, I wonder what actually drives you to have such a day. Because for me, I never quite figure out why I get those days. Not quite sure. I'm having one of those days today where I just feel like today's the day that I get things done. Today's the day where I remove a bunch of stuff from my to-do list and get some things done around the house. Maybe clean the kitchen and do an assignment and clear the floor. My living room floor is a little messy due to moving mess that I still haven't gotten rid of. I said moo way too loudly there. Sorry, my Lucifer, the cat, he's bugging me. I don't really know what it is he wants. I think maybe he doesn't like his new food. So anyway, yeah, it's a really positive day for me today. I can feel it, and that might crash. You never know where it goes. But I am going to try to use this drive and motivation that I have. And before I do that, I'm going to try to figure out where it comes from. Try to see if I can't reach a conclusion as to what did I do that made it so that I woke up with this kind of energy. Well, one thing that I did was that I got enough sleep. I made sure to sleep enough. I got a little less than 9 hours, and that's because I only slept for 5 hours yesterday, so I thought that I should probably get a little extra. Then the first thing I did when I woke up, aside from going to the bathroom and brushing my teeth, was, and you know, I won't lie to you, I also spent a little while on the toilet with my phone. A lot of us do that. I'm not that ashamed, because at least I don't really get stuck out there often. But then I moved around the house and made sure to open up all the curtains. And I'm thinking that definitely had an effect. I did have to close one of them again because the sun was hitting my screen. But everything else is open and I'm still getting a lot of natural light. And I think that helps in the wake-up process a lot. I made my bed, which is something I haven't been very good at recently, but it is something that I've noticed. I don't get as much done throughout the day if I don't make my bed in the morning, which might appear a little strange, but it has to do with the fact that when I make my bed, I don't just make my bed, I actually prepare my living room. So I don't sleep on a regular bed, I sleep on a couch. The reason for that is that after I got divorced about a year and a half ago, I moved in with a friend in order to not lose my apartment. And so I wanted a place for myself. I wanted a place of my own. And that meant I needed both a bed and a couch, but I couldn't fit that in the room. And so I bought a couch that I can sleep on. It is a pull-out couch, but I never use the pull-out part. I actually have not a blanket, but a carpet, and a small table standing there, so it can't even be pulled out. I would have to remove items from the room. If I make that in the morning, that means that my living room is also ready. I do have a real living room now, and I want to use it more, but I don't get around to using it as much, probably out of habit. So when I'm in the living room, I actually only use about half of it. I use the half where my computer is and my meditation pillow and those kinds of things. And so I don't really use the couch that much, and I don't really use my chair that much. I've got a really nice chair, and it's a little unfortunate that I don't get to use them, but nonetheless, back to the point, which I suppose is that when I make my bed in the morning, I ready my place to be worked at and be relaxed at. And that helps. So so far, just talking to you guys about it has helped me reflect on it enough to think there are these two things here that I'm doing right. And that is, I'm getting some light in the morning and I'm getting, my place ready. I should probably get some fresh air too. I bet that would help. Just opening the door and being out there for a couple of minutes, getting fresh air. Maybe do that while my coffee prepares or whatever. The reason I'm trying to figure this out is that I'm not always the best at taking care of myself. I've learned a lot about taking care of myself throughout the years, and there are certain things that I do and don't do simply because I've figured out that they work or don't work. For example, I'm not allowed to start playing a new game after about 6 p.m. If I want to play a new game, whether that be on my phone or on my computer or whatever, I have to do it in the morning or the afternoon. Otherwise, I might get too stimulated and I won't be able to sleep at night. I also noticed that I need to turn down the lights in the evening. So I don't always get it done, but I like to sometimes go into my bedroom, turn down the lights, then put on this, I have this small lamp that's enough for me to see, but it isn't blinding like my overhead lights are. And then I'll be in there, maybe watching a little, maybe reading, something like that. Just to kind of relax, to turn down. I know there's a word for that, but I've all of a sudden forgotten it. And that's just life sometimes, especially as a person with certain challenges. I have to be extra aware of these things, otherwise I'll just be in my own way. And that does mean that this entire episode apparently is going to end up being just a reflection on me and my habits. So, if you haven't already, buckle up now, because this is only half of the episode so far. Something else that I actually noticed felt really good is something I did recently, a few weeks back, and it was that I cleaned out the bathroom floor. Again, there was a lot of moving mess, and the reason was that when I moved here, I originally put it on the dryer and in the windowsill so that I could get rid of the boxes. But then I realized that everything on the dryer gets wiggled and potentially thrown on the floor, so I needed to find new places for it. And so I finally I initially just put it on the floor because I didn't use that floor area anyway. So it was fine, right? Well, as it turns out, it's not. And even just looking around me right now, I have all the space I need on my table here, on my desk. But there are still a few things that are a little messy, and I should clean those up. I should remove those messy things, because if I do that, it just feels better. That leads me to think that I also need to make sure that I wash some clothes today. I need more clean clothes. I don't wash clothes often enough, but that's because I once heard about this thing where we actually wash our clothes too much. If it's not visibly dirty or it smells, not smells, it's kind of like, that clean clothes smell? Just because the clean clothes smell fades doesn't mean that the clothes are dirty. A t-shirt, if you're just wearing it normally, you can often use it for 2 days. It's not that big a deal. I was taught from a young age to wash everything every day, The only thing I try to do, I try to change every day, is my underwear. I should get better at changing my socks, admittedly, because I feel like they also kind of reside in the same area. But jeans, for example, I do not change my jeans. Well, I don't wash my jeans unless they are somehow dirty or smelly, or maybe if I feel like, okay, I've worn them long enough now. But I don't just go, okay, I've worn these for 2 days, they are dirty, I need to put them in the washing machine. Unfortunately, that has led me to not washing clothes often enough because I have no habit. I can't wash clothes once a week because I don't use enough clothes to justify that. I wash all of my clothes separately, underwear and socks by themselves, and then jeans and so different degrees and all that. And so I can't really justify washing so little clothes once a week. And that means that I just don't have a habit for it. Which is unfortunate because habits are definitely what drive my life. And that's also why getting used to making my bed again. I used to because I had to. Then I moved here and I did it, but I started using my living room more. And so I kind of stopped doing it because it wasn't necessary, but it is necessary. It's necessary for my mental health, if nothing else. It's the same thing with my kitchen. Keeping it clean is necessary for my mental health. Keeping my desk cleared out is necessary for my mental health. Can you hear him? Can you hear the cat in the background? He's going absolutely crazy. I don't know, maybe he's being driven insane by the COVID pandemic as well. Just a second. Lucifer? Oh, I think it's because there's some animal. There's probably an insect in here. Well, whatever. That's enough of me getting distracted by the cat. I'm sorry about that. Again, I try to make these as natural as possible. I just kind of want to be here. I just want to spend my time with you guys, have some fun. That's another thing. I really wish I had just one viewer. I don't want 1,000 viewers right now. I'm not ready for something like that. But just 1 or 2 viewers who would ask me questions or tell me things that would give me something to talk about on the podcast. I also feel like that might actually drive more people to be interested in the podcast. And it's a whole thing, right? I need people in order to make it more interesting, but I need it to be more interesting in order to get people. Luckily for me, I'm not really in it for the algorithm. I'm in it for myself and anyone who might get some use out of this. And I'm gonna maintain that. So no matter what happens, I'm gonna maintain that attitude. That means if I do get lots, let's say I get 2,000 subscribers at some point, I'm still gonna be focusing on the individual. I will do everything in my power to never take away focus from the individual person. And I do make a lot of videos. So actually, speaking of that, I think once you hit 1,000 subscribers or something, you can monetize your videos. But I'm not too sure about how I feel about that. Can I put, do you choose the kinds of ads that you get, or is it YouTube choosing that? Because if I choose, then I would probably put a 5 to 6 second unskippable ad in the beginning. But I don't want those 20 seconds unskippable ads. Because I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this for the people. The money would just help me be there for the people. And I am thinking way ahead. I'm not really in a position to talk about whether or not I should do this or that, because I kind of need my first subscriber before I can start talking about getting 1,000, right? But I mean, I guess a part of me does want some subscribers, Of course it does. Of course I want someone to interact with. I think that would be amazing, but I don't really want it for the money. I want it for the engagement. That was a sidetrack. I always get sidetracked near the end. Maybe I should... I've been thinking about cutting these down, but I'm afraid that they'll get too much variety if I cut them down. Because if I cut them down and they're only 10 minutes long, well, if they're supposed to be 10 minutes long, then sometimes I'll end up talking for 15 minutes or 13 minutes. And it's probably better that I keep them at about 15 minutes or 16 minutes, because I've noticed that a lot of my videos are actually approximately the same length. Yesterday's video was a little longer than usual, I think. But other than that, they're pretty on point. Some of them are even the same down to the second. And that's a lot more dependable. I want anyone listening to this to know that this is going to take approximately 15 minutes, although it's actually more like 16 minutes on average. So maybe that's where I should try to cut it down. Maybe I should try to keep it at about 15 minutes or so. And with that in mind, I just noticed that I've crossed the 15-minute mark. So it's time for me to say goodbye. It's been fun talking to you. I really hope to figure more things out about myself together with you, and hopefully it helps some of you understand yourself better as well. For now, I'm gonna say bye. I lost it. I usually have my outro. It's been fun, you guys. I love talking to you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.